Welcome to WTSS Season 7, race number 12. We're at the North Wilkesboro Speedway in Wilkes County, North Carolina. One of the most historic short tracks in the entire continental United States, built on top of an illegal moonshine distillery. This track has roots in oval racing going all the way back to the very beginnings. It's the first time the WTSS has ever stepped foot here at this historic short track. And today, Shrimp Engrits put it on the pole alongside last week's winner at Nazareth, Hu Ji-yeon. Ryan Reid, who starts in the third position, just freshly took the championship lead, but with this being a double points race, the amount of drivers that can take the point lead exiting this week goes from 5 to 19. Anybody in those 19 positions could actually technically leave this race as the point leader. This is the longest short track on the entire calendar, and is attempting to become a crown jewel race in the WTSS. 200 laps at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Who's going to come out on top in this high-action short track race? Let's get to the race. The pace car pulls in. It's a long run from entrance of pit road to the start zone here at North Wilkesboro. A relic of the past of racing, brought to modern day, is green. Shrimp Engrits takes the green and we're underway for 200 laps at North Wilkesboro. Almost immediately, Hu Ji-yeon drifts up the track and ends up 3 wide with Kyle Bichelia and Mitchell Mark, and actually brushes the wall on the exit of turn number 2. Ryan Reid trying to peek down the inside for the lead already on pole sitter Shrimp Engrits as we come to the end of lap number 1. It will be Engrits leading, but Ryan Reid looks inside.
As they go into turn 2, that has been a trouble spot. It tightens up quite a bit.
Not only that, but the banking flattens out, and if you're already squeezing up against the guy on the inside lane, you can easily just drift right up in it when it gets tight on you. 3 by 3 at the back of the field, but out front, it's Ryan Reid, the leader. We always talk about these Roush Racing Enterprise campus cars being incredibly strong on the short tracks, and we say it time and time again, but we wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. Ryan Reid leads. Scott Roush is going for 3rd. Yuki Tamura is in 7th place. And trouble down the front straightaway.
Oh, no.
Chris Dodd gets turned around right in front of Jeffrey Finguy. And then 46 of Roberto Crown Jr.
Oh, no.
The entire Finguy, Saitomi, and CJ Racing fold have just crashed in one accident at the same time together. That entire 3-car alliance just crashed in one crash. That is as unfortunate as it gets. Nowhere to go for Jeffrey Finguy. Roberto Crown Jr. just piled in there at the end. It looks like Alex Bignacco got a big piece of that one as well. And we're under caution after not even 5 laps under green at North Wilkesboro.
Damaged cars coming in for...
Yeah. Brian Bolden got messed up in the checkup there as well. But it was Chris Dodd that got turned. They were 3 wide on the exit of turn 4. We had seen 3 wide get pulled off successfully for the most part up to that point, but that was the first time it did not in any way, shape, or form. And I would assume that is a DNF from a couple of those guys at the very least, especially Bolden. That is huge damage for the 7 car, and just like I predicted, radiator is busted on that car. Bignacco continues on with the damage that he's got on him, but Finguy Saitomi made this partnership with CJ Racing back in Season 5 when the CJ Racing was a 2-car outfit with Chris Dodd and Jake Baskinger. It's now a 3-car fold underneath that umbrella, and all 3 of them are wrecked. Let's go back and check to see what happened to bring out our first caution here at North Wilkesboro. So we head into turn 3 here. Jake Stevens, way on the bottom from 50 feet back, goes underneath James Gibson, who was already making a move on Chris Dodd. That actually put them 4 wide down the front straightaway. Nowhere to go for any of those guys. Ah, Bolden, just an innocent bystander. And Krasta, I didn't notice he got a piece of it as well in the 63. And, man, Finguy Saitomi, that's just, you gotta feel for him. Jeffrey Finguy still trying to get some damage repairs out there. No cars go a lap down. Ryan Reid, the leader, ahead of team boss and teammate Scott Roush. Let's get to the restart. The pace car pulls back in. Ryan Reid leading team boss Scott Roush in a Roush Racing Enterprises 1-2 on the restart. Mitchell Mark in third, Shrimp Angritz, Kyle Bishelia, Alex Constantine, Yuki Tamura, McLennan, Giroux, Wilhoit, Hujian. We're back underway at North Wilkesboro, and it's a great restart from Ryan Reid and Scott Roush. Mitchell Mark got caught napping there by Shrimp Angritz, and the 59 is immediately underneath.
I think Reid almost stuck Roush in the wall.
Caution already on the restart. Alex Bignacco has gone around on the front straightaway, and we're back under yellow after not even a lap of green flag running. Wow. I almost wonder if that had to be caused by Jeffrey Finguy being at an awkward position when the restart came. Maybe he got into the back of the 29 and maybe turned him around coming up to the restart. We'll have to find out here. It doesn't look like it was too serious, though, for the 29. No, it doesn't look like it was. It was Chris Dodd on the restart, just was riding on the back of the 29 and just turned him around, and that was that. It didn't damage him at all, but immediately back to yellow flag conditions. We're a few laps in on these tires, but the track surface is brand spanking new here. And so you're not going to see very much tire wear for the first probably 30, 40 laps of the run. You'll see some, but not a lot. We saw it in qualifying. It was pretty low fall off. Some people were setting new best laps 15 laps into their qualifying runs. So it's dependent on how hard you drive it, I guess, at this point. But so there's really no point in coming in for tires at the present. Everybody knows they're going to have to pit once, just past halfway for fuel, and that'll be satisfactory for the end of the race. But looks like no harm, no foul for the drivers involved in that incident. Just a harmless spin for Alex Bignacco that brings out our second caution of the day here at North Wilkesboro as Finguy comes in for further damage repairs. Ryan Reid still the leader ahead of Scott Roush and Shrimp Angritz, your top three. Let's get to the restart. The pace car pulls back in. It's going to be a lap 16 restart here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Ryan Reid the leader once more. Scott Roush, Shrimp Angritz now the man in third. Kyle Bishelia and Mitchell Mark the top five. Back underway at North Wilkesboro, and a bad restart for Scott Roush. He spun the tires, and Ryan Reid is absolutely gone as Shrimp Angritz tries to look low on the 6 of Scott Roush, but can't get underneath in time. It was a story of two phases, though, on that restart, because Roush is all over the back of Reid now. We keep it green this time on the restart. Reid leads at the line, 3 wide in the back with Mitchell Carter back there and Tristan Wilhoit, I saw. I don't know who that third car was. It might have been Fabio Vitabassa. Alex Constantine cracks the top 5 for the first time today. And look at Daniel Giroux. First time we've seen him up in the top 10 in quite some time. Battling up with these guys.
Mitchell Mark is falling like a stone.
Yes, he is. But Mark has not been the strongest on the short tracks this season. He's had a couple solid results, but his main focus has been on the big speedways this year. And, I mean, so far he's won 2 of them. But
Glenn's going for Constantine.
Yep. McLennan down the inside for 5th. Maverick Motorsports have proclaimed they're not that great on the short tracks this season, but they've had a couple standout performances. I think when they get the setup right, they are still Maverick Motorsports. And they've still got great drivers and a great team. And as long as they can keep the engines intact, I think they've got a good chance at a result with McLennan here. Finguy has finally completed his damage repairs in the 92 car. But it's just unfortunate for a 7-season veteran like him to just have to keep dealing with all these issues in these races. Crashes and stuff he just can't avoid. Yuki Tamura down the inside, as Daniel Giroux has already gotten Constantine. Now Tamura has as well. Finguy's actually back into the pits with... I guess they're still not satisfied with the damage repairs on that car, but they're still actively repairing that car. And now he's changing tires and getting a splash of fuel, so I'm not sure why they didn't do that in one pit stop, but you know. Kyle Bishelia looking for 3rd on Shrimp Angritz. We've kind of been wondering where he's been all season. The Van Dalen driver was the short track ace of last season in his rookie year. Had a great average finish on the short tracks. Got his first career win at Memphis. but we have not seen much of that 27 all season. But here we are at North Wilkesboro, a track that is in very, very similar in profile to Memphis, and he's flying up towards the front. He's just caught Scott Roush and Ryan Reid as Jeffrey Finguy leaves the pits right ahead of him. The officials are not satisfied with the damage repairs on the 92, and the team says we can't fix it any further, and so they're saying to park it. Jeffrey Finguy is out of the race 24 laps into this event. Ryan Reid, still the leader, ahead of Scott Roush, Kyle Bisceglia, Shrimp Engritz, and Jeff McLennan in the top 5. Daniel Giroux has now climbed up into the 6th position. Tamura, Mark, Constantine, and welcome to the top 10, Daniel Voiles. You can see the two Kulo Alfa Romeos actually having a really strong run so far in this race, in 10th and 12th at the moment. Not a track type you'd expect a team like them to be great at, but they've seemed to have found something today, and those two Alfa Romeos are climbing up the order slowly but surely. Man, there's a lot of field spread today. A very technical racetrack out here. Scott Roush starting to drift back a bit from teammate Ryan Reid. Kyle Bisceglia now all over the back of the 6 car. Will he make a move for second place into turn 1? He peaks low. The Van Dalen driver does. Can't quite find a way inside there. And Roush hangs on for the time being. Bisceglia, though, forces the issue into turn 3, reminiscent of the dive bomb that won him his first career race at Memphis last season. Gets alongside the number 6.
I think there was contact there.
Almost. If there was contact, it was marginal, but it sure looked like it. Bisceglia clears for second place off of turn 2. Those Audis look strong today. Daniel Giroux up in the 6th position, chasing a top 5 as Engritz now peaks low on the 6. That inside lane still looks to kind of be the preferred line so far, but it's not impossible for the outside driver to hang tight. You just got to be... I'd presume, seeing how these guys have handled so far, if you've got a much better car than the guy trying to pass you, you can still hold it around the outside. You want to talk about something that is shocking in this race. The 80 of Jake Stavenall, one of the Roush Racing Enterprise Campus cars, is behind every other damaged car on the racetrack on raw pace. Something is amiss on the setup of that car, and they're going to have to figure something out when they get to the next caution or a green flag pit cycle.
I did see him make a stop with Finguy on the restart, so there might have been an issue.
Might have been a restart penalty. We'll have to go back and look at the next chance we get. Maybe Stavenall got a restart violation for a jump or something. That wouldn't surprise me. These short tracks are very easy to make that mistake. As the caution flies, lap number 32 of 200 here at North Wilkesboro for what looks to be a spin in turns 1 and 2 for Tristan Wilhoit. I don't see any damage on the car, but it definitely seems like he was the one that got spun. Scott Roush is in.
Going
strategy. I guess you might as well. He was drifting back and back. It looked like he was starting to struggle a bit there.
Yeah, Reid was definitely the better car in that opening stint.
What has happened to Tristan Wilhoit? Into turn 1 he goes. Oh, Figueroa clipped him in the right rear, brought him up the racetrack and spun him around. That is very minimal damage for a short track crash. In general, I think the one who got the worst of it was Figueroa, who got pinched into the outside wall and pancaked it with the right side of the car.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Figueroa looked like she was having more damage than Wilhoit there.
A lot of people in the pits.
Doesn't look like any of that damage is going to be fixed.
No, I still see it on the right-hand side of the car.
I mean, you don't really need that much aero dependence.
No, but tire rubs are a thing, especially on short tracks, so you got to be incredibly careful of that. But I think they see that it clears the fenders and they're just going back out. Nobody's going to lose a lap in the pits. Ryan Reid continues to lead this race, And of the cars that came into the pits, Scott Roush is the leader of the cars that pit, and he has rolled out in the 24th position. So top 23 on their original tires they started the race with. Everybody else took 4 tires under this yellow from 24th on back.
It'll be interesting to see how this works, considering tire wear has not been that big of an issue this week.
It'll also be interesting to see Jake Stavanaugh. He's going to take this restart the only car 1 lap down, so he'll be on the inside of the leaders here. And he's got fresh tires and possibly a setup adjustment. Now that we have a chance, let's go back and see what happened to Jake Stavanaugh to put him a lap down. Okay, so we see him coming through 3 and 4. That's as cut and dry as it gets. A mistake from Sebastian Van Dalen. If I was a race car driver in that scenario, I would have protested that, if I'm being honest. It was a mistake from Van Dalen that put him ahead of the 81, but the officials still deemed he did not even attempt to back off when the 81 made a mistake. And so Jake Stavanaugh was given a pass-through, a stop-and-go, for his restart violation. Ryan Reid leads Kyle Bisceglia, Shrimp Engritz, Jeff McLennan, and Daniel Giroux. Let's get to the restart. The pace car pulls back in. It'll be a lap 38 restart. Ryan Reid the leader. His lap down teammate Jake Stavanaugh on the inside lane with fresh tires. Remember that on this restart. We're back underway. It's going to be cold tires.
It does not matter.
It's going to be cold tires for the first couple laps, as Stavanaugh will get up to speed on those fresh tires. 3 wide for second place. McLennan down to the bottom on Shrimp Engritz and Kyle Bisceglia. And he's going to commit to it into turn 3. He does not back out. Almost down onto the concrete apron through 3 and 4 there. And at the exit of turn 4, Jeff McLennan, the rookie, fires it up into the second position, just as he did in the rookie shootout at Jukasa. Meanwhile, it looks like the fresh tires are getting up to temperature for Jake Stavanaugh, and it looks like we have a restart violation for reigning champion Mark Nutt, who has to come in for a stop and go.
And there it is.
And Stavanaugh, yeah, the fresh tires are working. The fresh tires are quicker. I think he's just trying to find a creative way to get past his race leader teammate without hampering their efforts. He's going to end up being not the only car a lap down here, so he's got to really get a hustle on. Yeah, inside of Ryan Reid. There's enough of a gap from Reid back to McLennan now that it's not going to hamper his efforts too bad. And Jake Stavanaugh gets back onto the lead lap. Lap number 41 of 200. Now let's get an update on some of our drivers that hit under that caution. I see Scott Roush starting to make some moves on the inside lane. Oh, I think Arnie Nugroho got some front end damage in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, that's unfortunate for our Lime Rock winner. But out front, yeah, look at that. Fresh tires, it means something. After about 30 laps, it actually is significant to have fresh tires here. So that is good to know for later in the race. And it could be good to know if this thing stays green long enough, we could see some of these fresh tire runners find their way to the front. Bisceglia all over the back of Engritz for the 3rd position, trying to get back up onto that podium place. As James Gibson fires it down the inside of Daniel Boyles for the 8th place. And a strong run for the 75 forming so far to begin this race. We're not seeing the same tire advantage from the others that pit under this caution that as we are seeing from Stavanaugh, who handily unlapped himself from the 90 of Ryan Reid. I almost wonder if they also put some absolutely immaculate adjustments on that 80 car and fixed whatever was wrong with it. Or it could just be traffic getting in the way of these fresh tire runners. Scott Roush is getting impatient. So is Allison Figueroa, who gets into the left rear of Aiden Shepard and turns him out of turn 2, right into the path of Scott Roush, right as we were talking about him.
Mitchell Carter also that car is also gone.
And Tristan Wilhoit has to take to the pit lane to avoid that accident.
Very close to being a
and look at that
catastrophe for Wilhoit.
Every other person in the field saw that tire advantage that Jake Stavanaugh got and said, I want some of that. Which means Elijah Innes is going to be the race leader. Elijah Innes was the leader of the fresh tire runners at the moment of caution, and he will now be the race leader here at North Wilkesboro. All of those people that came in a few laps early and pit under that last caution, it's paid off now because the caution came soon after, and they showed their hand of how fast the fresh tires were. And the rookie Elijah Innes, who's really, really dealt with some adversity this season, is now your race leader ahead of Allison Figueroa and, believe it or not, Chris Dodd in the 3rd position. McLennan jumps Ryan Reid in the pits. Wow. Okay. And Scott Roush has maintained his status of being still in the race, it looks like. But that car is mangled. Let's go back and look and see what happened to bring out the caution here at just shy of 50 laps. I mean, we basically saw it right in front of our eyes. Allison Figueroa dived underneath the 42 of Aiden Shepard and just didn't lift. Shepard did not move up the racetrack the slightest, and there was nowhere for anybody else to go behind. Wow, what a save for Tristan Wilhoit down on the bottom there. Huge damage for Mitchell Carter that ultimately took him out of the race. I think we need to see this from a second angle from Tristan Wilhoit. Yeah, in avoidance, he gets turned by the 08 of Chonarong Wongsawat and just barely nudges the wall on the inside and then tries to get back out onto the racetrack but can't and ends up scraping the pit wall on the way through. But it doesn't look like he got any damage from that, and we'll continue on.
Yeah, that could have been really bad for Wilhoit.
Unfortunately, I think Wilhoit has gone a lap down as a result of that.
Looks like it.
I think they might have... Yeah, he came in for his tire stop at that moment. I think that was a miscommunication. Ooh. And then, exiting his stall, contact with the 64 of Alex Constantine, giving damage to the 64.
Yeah.
To think we were in the top 10 two restarts ago.
And so now, what do? Jeff McLennan is the leader of the primary strategy cars in the 12th position. He stayed out under that previous yellow. In fact, the other 24 around him also stayed out under yellow. And the people that pit during that previous yellow got the benefit of being able to stay out with only 5-lap old tires compared to the others. So will there be a difference? I think maybe not tire difference. I think 5 laps is not enough to make a severe difference in tires. But I think a lot of the cars that pit under that caution, minus Scott Roush, were not cars contending for the front of the field. I think the first one in line that is a real contender, based off of what I've seen in this race, is Jake Stavanaugh. And man, he got lucky with the timing of that caution and getting back on the lead lap. The pace car is back in. Elijah Innes, for the first time in his WTSS career, is the race leader. We're back underway at North Wilkesboro on lap 52. All right, damaged cars in the way of the main leaders. Ooh. Oh, man. Jake Stavanaugh getting impatient with Aiden Shepard. Ryan Reid is not wasting any time. He cuts underneath Jeff McLennan. He cuts underneath his teammate to go on Jake Stavanaugh. It's a mixture of healthy and damaged cars at the front of the field with differing tire strategies and differing fuel strategies. It's going to be interesting to see how it folds out later on in the event. Nobody can make it to the end on fuel, I don't believe. And a restart violation for Arnie Nugroho in the 45. Unfortunate for him.
Yeah, bad day for him just gets worse.
Sebastian Van Dalen takes the second spot away as Tristan Wilhoit clears Mark Nutt to go and try chase after Elijah Innes to unlap himself possibly. We'll see if he's got a strong enough car to do so. Yeah, Innes is out of here. Possibly a stronger car than we had really any idea of. McLennan trying to clear the 63 of Brandon Crasta. Contact in the back. Jake Stavanaugh has still not cleared the traffic, and he gets into the back of Roberto Crown Jr., ultimately sticking behind him by the corner exit. Kyle Bichelia caught up behind this mess as well. 3 wide. McLennan got tired of waiting behind the 63 and took it into his own hands to go underneath through the middle between Crasta and Patrick Smith. And I think I'm right. Tristan Wilhoit is going after race leader Elijah Innes to try and get himself back onto the lead lap. He gained a 10th that lap. on the one car. Meanwhile, fresh tire runners, Ryan Reid has already climbed back up into 6th, chasing the top 5 from Cale Teskar Jr. Shout out Chris Dodd. He has actually had a much stronger restart than I expected him to have with that damage. Still running in 7th. Daniel Giroux right behind him. And Dodd might want to be careful because he spun Giroux's teammate and team boss earlier on one of the early restarts, but it looks like Giroux keeps it civil. Maybe with a finger out the window. I don't know. The cameras couldn't capture it very well. Giroux down the inside of Ryan Reid. This could be for the effective race lead later on. But Reid is actually attempting to go around the outside of Teskar here. These guys are starting to experiment with their lines a bit, I think. But I think it's still too early to try and pick the outside. And as he tries to continue moving that outside, Giroux gets to the bumper of Teskar. Looks underneath on the exit of 4 with help from Jeff McLennan. And inside of Cale Teskar Jr. goes Daniel Giroux and Jeff McLennan. Meanwhile, Will Hoyt is closing on Elijah Innes to try and unlap himself. But will he be able to unlap himself before the race gets interrupted again? Will this be the longest green flag run of the race? We're closing in on that number. Ryan Reid trying to deal with both Cale Teskar Jr. and Aiden Shepard. Teskar up into the wall off of turn number 2. Big contact with the 26. Got up out of the groove into the dirty stuff in the marbles. Had no grip on the exit and lost 2 spots as a result, and probably has some right side damage. Giroux underneath Allison Figueroa now for 4th place. That 2 car looks quick, but I gotta say, McLennan right behind him looks quicker. He's just being patient and just following Giroux through, it looks like. Out front, Will Hoyt is still trying to close in on Innes, but they've kind of plateaued. But race leader Elijah Innes looks really fast. McLennan says, enough of this. You cleared the majority of the traffic. I'm going through now because I'm quicker. And gets through on Giroux for 4th place. And immediately sets his sights on Sebastian Van Dalen for 3rd. McLennan was almost half a second quicker than race leader Elijah Innes last time by. Yeah, look at the speed difference through the mid-corner between McLennan and Van Dalen. Van Dalen defends the inside of the corner to stop the 87 from making a move, but instead McLennan just uses the middle line, arcs the corner after diamonding it, and tries to get the run off, but can't quite. Teskar is in the pits with damage repairs from hitting the wall, and he's chosen to take his fuel and tire stop here as well. That is a big gamble from the Blue Sky team, banking on this going green for a while. Giroux back down the inside of McLennan, though, stuck behind the 81 of Van Dalen long enough, and it's allowed the 2 car back alongside. This could be for the effective race lead. They all appear to be quicker than Innes. It's just that 1 car built such a gap on the restart. But now racing side by side slows you down so much. Look how much time they've lost. But Van Dalen hits the wall right in front of this battle for 4th. And that's going to allow Giroux down the inside, possibly for 3rd on Sebastian Van Dalen. He just absolutely sends it under braking underneath the 81 and clears the rookie up into 3rd place with Ryan Reid following. Damage schmamage over at the 64 for Alex Constantine. He does not care that pit road collision happened. He's back up into the top 10. He's closing in, and one of your short track winners from this season is showing that he's still a contender in this event, even with a pit road collision to hamper his day. Ryan Reid through on Daniel Giroux for 3rd now, and the driver who feels like the rightful leader of this event is back out front. Now that he's in some clean air, we'll really get to see the true pace differential between someone like Reid and the Innes and Vita Bassa cars. As, speaking of Elijah Innes, Tristan Wilhoit has not given up on his quest to get back on the lead lap, and he is right there on the 1 car. Last time by, Ryan Reid was 0.3 of a second quicker than Elijah Innes. At that rate, it would take him another 15 laps to get up to the 1 car without getting held up by anybody at least. 3 wide in the back. Hu Ji-yeon, Kyle Bichelia, and the struggling Sebastian Van Dalen, who was at one point in 3rd place in this race just a few laps ago. He's now fallen all the way back to 13th. Look at Will Hoyt all over the back of the 1 to try and get his lap back. And there's no teammate relationship between these two. There's nothing he's got to worry about holding back and waiting for a good time to unlap himself. He's just going to go for it, I feel. And there is Vita Bassa under pressure for 2nd place from Ryan Reid. This would be a victory for the Kulo Alfa Romeo team today. They are not known as an oval squad, at least on the short tracks. Occasionally they show up on the big ovals, but mostly this is a road racing team and a road racing driver, and running 2nd, even if it is a bit by strategy, he's maintained it this long. It's a day to be proud of for Fabio Vita Bassa. Look at Alex Constantine go! It's just like some of the races from earlier this season. Every lap I see him passing a car when we're not even looking. He's going for 6th now on Logan Hill down into turn 3 and is going to make quick work of the 11, it looks like. Looks like Vita Bassa is giving Reid a harder time than I expected.
And that is letting Innes go.
Yes, but Innes might have to deal with a headache here in a moment because both Tristan Wilhoit and Cale Teskar Jr. want to get laps back. Especially Teskar.
And he's going to want to keep them behind because that's bodies that he can throw against Reid.
Yeah, and the more laps you spend not on the bottom lane, the worse it is. It looks like this is a really bottom-centric track right now with this new pavement and these race cars circulating and the rubber onto it. It just looks like it is trended to stay on the bottom for the rest of this race. Teskar forcing the issue on Wilhoit with the fresher tires. He's 2 laps behind the 17 of Wilhoit. This is Teskar just trying to get back to 2 laps down from Elijah Innes. This is a full-blown try to save whatever we can kind of mode right now for the 17, or for the 26. Ryan Reid is getting impatient with Fabio Vita Bassa. He puts the bumper to the 0-2 into turn 1, shoves him through the corner, and on the exit is underneath Vita Bassa by corner exit. That was an aggressive move, but it was one that he needed to make. He lost a half a second to Elijah Innes just while trying to get the 0-2. Teskar all over the back of Elijah Innes. If Teskar can uproot the 1 off the bottom lane, that will open the door for Wilhoit to have an opportunity to unlap himself and get back on the lead lap here. But crucially, lap traffic is approaching quicker than you would expect. Damaged race cars around here struggle hard, and even if it is only 3 to 4 tenths a lap slower, that adds up over time. Krasta and Crown are especially slow. They're half a second to a second off the pace back here. Nugroho is just kind of caught in the middle after getting a restart penalty. And now, Elijah Innes is going to have to keep his composure with lap cars that he's passing and lap cars that are passing him. Innes, right up on the back. Teskar goes to the back of the 1 car. He's peeking inside. He's not close enough. He did not get the traction off of 4 he wanted. But Ryan Reid already has cut the gap by 7 tenths since freeing himself from Fabio Vita Bassa. Vita Bassa barely hanging onto a top 5 now as Alex Constantine approaches the back bumper of the 0-2. And there it is, Teskar attacking the 1. But he could not find a way through that time. Innes playing full defense at this point.
And he's going to deal with Crown and
Krasta.
Who's then? And Nugroho.
Yep, Nugroho. Well, Nugroho is not much slower, though. He had a restart violation. It's going to be a few more laps before they catch him. These two, though, are almost a second a lap slower. They're running similar lap times, so this is actually for position between these two. And they are on the lead lap. They have every right to fight Innes here. Because a caution could come out that could save their lead lap status. Crown with an incredibly late block. That was almost a catastrophe would have been a really bad-looking rookie mistake from Roberto Crown Jr., but the heads-up racing from the other rookie, Elijah Innes, in that situation. Krasta now is going defense on the 1 to try and stay on the lead lap, just trying to hang on as long as he physically can before a caution or something could happen. Into 3, though, has to be dispatched by Elijah Innes, and the 1 car clears through the traffic. Krasta digs deep on the outside, but there's no straight line speed with that damage. And Innes finds a way through, but that has held Innes up long enough to lose another 8 tenths to Ryan Reid, who's now caught the back of this traffic. Give a little quiet shout out to Hu Ji Yan, who has just cracked the top 10 for the first time since pit stops, and is approaching Kyle Bisceglia for 9th. Your race winner at Nazareth. Never took her as an oval racer, but in the last 3 seasons, she's really come alive as a short track threat in the WTSS, and the Season 2 champion in her highest points position she's been since her championship back in Season 2, in 8th in points, is looking strong again today here at North Wilkesboro. As the gap cuts to 1.5 seconds now between Ryan Reid and Elijah Innes, as the cream rises to the top.
He is also going to have to deal with all the lap cars that
test car
that Innes did.
Yep, he got him. Test car underneath the 1 of Elijah Innes. Could not cover it off this time, and the slightly fresher tires from the 26 finally carry him down the inside of Elijah Innes. And crucially, Tristan Wilhoit, in his quest to get back on the lead lap, it might finally be answered. His prayers have been answered. Wilhoit's back on the lead lap as well. And even
more.
Oh, wow.
And even more, there is now no one in between Innes and Reid.
Yes. Very, very important. They're about to catch the 45 of Arnie Nugroho now, who is 1 lap down already. He's trying to stay just 1 down before a possible next caution. We don't know yet. For all we know, it could go green the rest of the way, but that's not how the trends have shown. This is our by far longest green flag run of the day, but all of these guys are going to be defending every lap they could get put down with their lives, because they don't know if it could be the last time they get a chance to fight for it. Teskar is 2 laps down now. He was 3 before unlapping one of his laps there. It's under a second now between Elijah Innes and Ryan Reid. And yeah, Wilhoit, you can tell that it was a lot of just being able to get underneath the 1 that was holding Wilhoit back. And in fact, Wilhoit has now gotten underneath the 26 of Teskar. It almost feels like that 17's got some good long run pace. I think they'll be hoping for a caution now that they've gotten back on the lead lap. Get a chance to reset and reboot out there. Yuki Tamura has climbed up into the 4th position very quietly to go join her teammate in the top 5 and chase after the lead trio. Innes back down the inside of Teskar, but he can't do anything with it. Here comes Ryan Reid. That was the worst thing he could have done.
At the same time, it was pretty much the only thing that he could do.
Look how defensive he's going. Innes cuts down the racetrack on the front straightaway. Ryan Reid, 5 lap fresher tires, but a lot better handling race car as we've seen all day today. And arguably a driver with much more experience and short track abilities so far in his WTSS career. Man, Nugroho is being a nuisance to these guys on the back straightaway right now. He gets such good exits off the corners. Even Reid is having trouble building a run because everybody's checking up. It's not just Innes. Reid trying to try different lines to get better runs off the corner right now, but it's not working, and Jeff McLennan and Yuki Tamura and even Logan Hill are closing in very quickly. Tescar's going to be back down the inside of Wilhoit here if he's not careful. Wow. Wilhoit on the bumper, riding the bumper of the 45 in
McLennan's
Nugroho. As
going for
McLennan
second.
looks on Ryan Reid, but you see that right there, that outside lane. He tried to use it for the momentum, but he couldn't do it. McLennan's down the inside for second, just as Innes gets back down the inside of Tescar in the 26. And look at Wilhoit, defending with his life, trying to attack the 45 in Nugroho at the same time. Absolute chaos at the front of the field. Elijah Innes somehow maintaining the lead still, but Jeff McLennan is up into second place ahead of Ryan Reid. They'll be
It
hoping
actually
to
is
clear
a
this
pretty good
traffic.
idea for Innes. It's a pretty good idea for Innes to stay side by side because it's not really tenable to keep it at
Yeah.
go 3 wide.
You got to force it 3 wide if you're going to make the pass. That's what Innes' goal there was. And just as Yuki Tamura is about to catch the lead trio, Tescar gets back down to the bottom in front. McLennan, again, eyeing up that middle line. He's been toying around with it all race. So far, it hasn't shown any dividends, but he's not giving up. And look at the grip difference through the corner. Underneath the 1 almost, off at turn number 4. Rookie Jeff McLennan peeks inside into 1. Gets his nose underneath. Innes digs deep and hangs onto it somehow. And look at Tamura down the inside on Tescar. The top 5 are nose to tail here at North Wilkesboro. It doesn't get any closer. We're just past halfway now. I just noticed that. We will have a green flag pit stop if this thing keep going this way.
But at this stage, it might not last much longer.
Yeah, the caution could be from the leaders.
Racing.
Elijah Innes is driving a defensive masterclass of a race out front right now. Meanwhile, Ryan Reid's back down the inside for the second position. Yuki Tamura trying to follow through. Pole sitter at Nazareth, Logan Hill. Here comes Reid, he's peeking into 1. Innes left the door open, but he's using that to arc the corner and get the run off, even with a worse handling car. So just as long as you don't have a car alongside you into the corner, that line is better. But that's the catch. Make sure that you stay ahead, and he's going defensive. He knows Ryan Reid's strong. But Reid just did the same line he did and arced the corner from the second lane. Look at Yuki Tamura go! The 60 car is absolutely flying! Underneath the 90! Teammates battling side by side for second place. Tamura clears for second place, but meanwhile, through all of this craziness, the only driver who stayed out under that last caution that has maintained a top 10 position, let alone a top 5 position, is race leader Elijah Innes, who's managed to hold back the heat this entire time. Now we're going to catch some more slower traffic. That's Alex Bignacco in the 29 and Chris Dodd in the 8. Both damaged in that first caution. Wilhoit making quick work of the 29. That is 4 position as well. Yuki Tamura has been absolutely aggressive on the overtake so far in this race. She's caught up to the back of Elijah Innes now. Will she continue to bring the pressure to the back of the 1 car? Down the back straightaway. Tamura to the bumper of race leader Elijah Innes. Tries to peek underneath, but Innes is doing such a good job with his defensive driving, but he can't keep the grip on the exit. Tamura peeks low into turn 1 for the race lead on lap 114. Yuki Tamura side by side with rookie Elijah Innes, and the number 60 car, the Golden Spark Machine, peeks ahead into turn 3 to take the lead of the race. And now,
Yeah.
can she run or will Logan Hill attack? Oh, Innes. I think Innes is done now. I think he pulled every ounce of steam he had in that car.
It was a valiant effort, but...
It was, for sure. Look at Wilhoit getting impatient with Chris Dodd up ahead. That's 4th position. Dodd can defend it all he wants. But crucially, that might put Wilhoit in danger of going back a lap down to his former Alliance teammate, Yuki Tamura. Actually, just former teammate. They were both Maverick Motorsports teammates at one point. And he's had an issue into the one. He got loose. Up the racetrack goes Tristan Wilhoit. And Yuki Tamura's head of steam continues as she puts the 17 back a lap down on lap 117. Oh, wow!
Ooh.
Yuki Tamura is so aggressive. Some say that's why she gets involved in crashes so often. But also, why she ended up winning 5 races in her rookie season in WTSS. There is a balance that comes with experience that you have to master. And Tamura, now in her 4th season of WTSS competition, is looking to finally break that winless drought. Logan Hill, another driver looking to break a winless drought in the 11.
Yeah, the 11 is not letting her go.
They both look stronger than McLennan and Reid. I really thought McLennan and Reid were going to be the ones battling for this, but currently they're starting to gap them.
Yeah, Reid got stuck behind Innes, and I think he used up his stuff.
Yeah, I think they raced each other so hard they burned their stuff up, and so their tires are a little bit more worn, probably a bit more temperature put into them. Now we have some severe traffic coming up. This is where the lappers become similar pace to the leaders. These are cars that are either undamaged or basically undamaged, approaching quick, including Tamura's teammate, Jake Stavanaugh.
Oh yeah, Stavenaw's fallen back quite a bit.
Yes, he has. I guess those 5 laps on those tires did make some sort of a difference. And it also could just be that Stavenaw's car is just doesn't have a great baseline for a setup in the first place. So
that is also might be the case. He was in the back.
In the way. Tamura tries to put the bumper to the 81. Logan Hill tries the outside with the slower traffic in the way. But ultimately,
that just puts him on.
It might put him vulnerable to be unlapped by Teskar again. Yeah, Tescar's back down the inside.
And that's going to bring McLennan in for a second.
The traffic in the way of race leader Yuki Tamura. So much so, she almost gets dived by the 26 that time. Tamura trying to force the issue. Look at McLennan! He just put the bumper to Teskar. He wants to get up to the lead. We've seen brash impatience from this young rookie all season, and it's continued. McLennan peaks low. Tamura peaks low on Van Dalen. We're going to be almost 3 wide into turn 1, but McLennan is the one who backs out of it. The top 4 are nose to tail here at North Wilkesboro once again.
Yeah, people were expecting McLennan to be a king on road courses, but he's been improving his mettle on the short tracks this season.
And now, 4 cars, nothing separating them at the front of the field. Is Ryan Reid trying to look down the inside of Logan Hill? Tamura drifts up off the bottom. Jeff McLennan back to the inside for the lead. And look at the battles for position going on just ahead of these guys. That's Roberto Crown Jr. and Brandon Crasta about to go a second lap down up ahead as well. So the slow traffic is catching the slower traffic while the leaders are trying to deal with them. Reid to the inside of Tamura. Tamura's kind of boxed in. She doesn't really have anywhere she can go. And look at that. Crasta and Crown Jr. are side by side in front of the leaders. Oh, you don't want to be in the position of Jeff McLennan right now, because you don't know which lane ends up being the correct one. Tamura takes it 3 wide to get past the lapper of DJ Curtis. McLennan tries to force it 3 wide to get past the slower traffic. Ryan Reid does force it 3 wide. McLennan gets into Jake Stevens, turns the 18 down the racetrack, who goes back up almost into the door of the race leader. We're 3 wide for the lead at North Wilkesboro.
Absolute squirrely action between everybody.
And now we're actually 3 wide for the lead. Hill and Tamura underneath McLennan off of turn number 2.
Hill looks like he backed out.
Thought better of it. Lets the 87 back in line around the outside of the
Here comes
slower
Innes.
traffic.
Innes is
Elijah
back in
Innes
this.
is back into this, even with his slower car and his worse tires. The traffic in the way. Which lane ends up being the correct one to go? And it looks like inside was the right call. Stevens gets underneath Crown Jr. before McLennan can get to his outside. Now what do you do if you're Jeff McLennan? How urgently do you get past this 46? It's got to be top priority. Oh, hard in the wall in the back there for Sebastian Van Dalen as Elijah Innes comes in for his green flag pit stop. Here we go. The pit cycle is going to begin. You rarely ever get to see a green flag pit cycle on a short track in WTSS, but here we are.
I mean, I think that's mainly because there's so few of them.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because it is a huge risk to come in early with the risk of there being a mid-cycle caution that ends up throwing you a lap down. In all this chaos, Yuki Tamura has solidly gotten the lead now.
And now has 2 cars between her and Reid.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what she would have wanted. As Sebastian Van Dalen, I don't know if that's in reaction to him hitting the wall and having to come in for a tire rub, or if he was actually scheduled to come in at that lap. We won't know. Shrimp Angritz is riding the back of Arnie Nugroho's car. That was crazy. Allison Figueroa is in the pits as well.
Yeah, you were just talking about the risks of coming in. We almost just saw that come to fruition there.
Yeah, if a caution had come out, it would have absolutely ruined Elijah Innes' day. In a day where he's led the most laps. He's led his first laps ever as a WTSS driver and is still, I believe, has the most laps led in this race. Who's going to be the first of the leaders to blink? That'll be the real interesting one. But I think Elijah Innes pitting when he did around the pit cycle while he's still with the leaders puts him in that conversation as being one of the leaders now. Which is a really interesting thought. Oh, man! Michelia! Aiden Shepard! Touch! Shepard on fresher tires trying to clear through on the 27.
Oh.
I think this is a great call from Elijah Innes if he can make it work, if it can stay green. Look at how good the fresh tires are here at North Wilkesboro. Round the outside, 3 wide.
That is possibly past the season.
And that's possibly...
That wasn't even for position, and I'd vote for that.
That is possibly the pass that gets the track position that Elijah Innes wants later on. But all it takes is one misstep from any of these people out here, and their strategy is thrown right out the window. Oh, he gets into Scott Rouge! Oh my goodness! Innes is pushing like a madman and is not waiting for anyone. Caution! Caution is out!
Oh, no!
Elijah Innes' strategy is thrown in the trash as Logan Hill has had an accident. One of your top 5 contenders in this race. Oh man, 3 wide coming back to the caution between multiple drivers. And now everybody on the lead lap's going to come in. Every single one of them. You have to. Tire fall off is too big once you hit about the 70 laps into the run mark. It's 2 seconds from fresh tires to old tires right now.
God, you have to feel for that one team.
In a position in which if this had stayed green, Elijah Innes may have taken the lead of the race. He's now not even going to be on the lead lap. He's not even 2 laps down. He's not even a lap down. I know he's 1 lap down. Yeah. All right. Patrick Smith leads the lap down cars onto pit road this time by, I believe. Aiden Shepard's going to stay out, it looks like. You can't, there's no other words other than you feel sorry for the rookie there. McLennan jumps ahead out of the pits. Ahead of Tamura, Reid, Constantine, and Bisceglia. Oh, problem on Mitchell Marks' crew. Slow stop for the 28. And he's going to fall out of the top 10, even in the top 15, and almost gets lapped by the pace car. Jeff McLennan is the race leader ahead of Yuki Tamura and Ryan Reid. Let's go back and look and see what happened to bring out the caution here at North Wilkesboro. All right, so we see Logan Hill coming into turn 1, and there's nothing yet so far. We saw skid marks in 1 and 2. Oh, it was Aiden Shepard turning Tristan Wilhoit down into the 11 of Logan Hill and collecting the 18 of Jake Stevens. So we saw Logan Hill get spun by Aiden Shepard, who had already been shown as very impatient on those fresh tires, and just finally bit somebody else. We get 1 to go here at North Wilkesboro. It is going to be Elijah Innes getting the wave around to rejoin the back of the field for the restart after staying out. Aiden Shepard 2 laps down on the inside lane, leads the bottom of the lappers. This is going to be the interesting one. We have not had a restart with more than about 2 or 3 cars on that inside lane. And now we've got drivers with mixed tire strategies, mixed damage levels, all at the front of the field, on the inside lane, in the preferred line. Jeff McLennan, though, the rookie, takes the restart after a great pit stop from the Maverick pit crew, and we're back underway with 55 laps to go at North Wilkesboro. And he clears Shepard when he needs to, gets out ahead of Yuki Tamura, and the 60 is going to have to keep dealing with him.
Yeah, Jeff nailed that restart.
Now the question is, of the leaders, who can get down to the bottom the fastest? Allison Figueroa cuts into the bottom 3 wide, hits Sebastian Van Dalen into Yuki Tamura. We're 4 wide on the exit of turn 2. Somehow, some way we get away without contact. No, we don't. Trouble for Patrick Smith, who saves it. Nobody crashes. The caution does not come out. We're trying to salvage ourselves back up here. Everybody gets back going, and we stay green at North Wilkesboro somehow.
There's a lot to unpack there, and I think someone got a restart penalty.
Scott Roush, restart penalty in the 6th, but he was already
a lot to unpack.
Heavy damage for Alex Constantine from that almost crash.
Yeah, he hit Patrick Smith there. Oh, and now it's a giant hive.
Oh, crashed hard in the wall. Got up into the marbles there as a problem, I think, for Eugene DeMax. Maybe we're 4 wide again, almost 5 wide up in turn 2. I can't believe what we're seeing, and they're wrecking in turn 3.
There it goes.
Where's the leaders?
Oh, Scott Roush getting really close quarters there.
Okay, we're fine.
Race leader Jeff McLennan picks up the pace car.
There's a lot to unpack there.
I don't know how it even took that long.
That is a restart. We're going to have to look at multiple angles and multiple replays up to figure out everything that happened and everything that went on. It's Jeff McLennan, the leader, at the caution. He maintained it ahead of the field. Let's go back and look at some of the replays of that one. So we see them coming off of turn 2, 4 wide. Constantine has nowhere to go. Clips the right rear of Cale Teskar Jr., who spins the 77 up the racetrack into the wall. A half spin. The car saves it. Constantine has nowhere to go and absolutely smashes the front end off of that car. And somehow we get away with it at that point. But now, in the middle of the field, Teskar Jr. is panicking. Has to check up because of how shallow he entered turn 3 there. Got hit by Jake Stevens. Now we're forced into a situation where we're nearly 3 and 4 wide through 3 and 4. Krasta gets shoveled up at the top by Nugroho. He's one of the slowest cars on the racetrack, so he's just getting ping-ponged around. Puts him up into the marbles where he hits the wall. And then into 1 and 2, we now find ourselves in a situation where Eugene DeMax has to check up. We find ourselves nearly 5 wide. We are 5 wide on the exit of turn 2. Sorts it back to 4 wide, but 4 wide is still not enough for the width of the back straightaway. And every single one of them end up getting caught up in an incident. That is an unbelievable chain of events, and somehow it ended with, I believe, 0 cars DNFing. Jeff McLennan survived all the chaos, with all of it happening in his rearview mirror. He is still your race leader, ahead of Ryan Reid, Yuki Tamura, Sean Angel, Kyle Bisceglia, your top 5. Let's get to the restart. Pace car pulls back in. It'll be a 45 to go restart, 10 laps after the last one. Jeff McLennan's still the leader. Can he clear the traffic just as good as he did the previous time around? We're back underway at Wilkesboro, and it's like he hits the jets because McLennan is clear before we get to turn 1, but crucially, so is Ryan Reid. What a restart from the top 2. Tamura gets shuffled up to the top by Sean Angel. 3 wide on the exit at 2. It's all popping off at North Wilkesboro. We're getting into the closing laps, and everybody wants to get to the front. Reid not letting the 87 go, but crucially, he's got damage. Reid made contact in that almost crash with Patrick Smith down the back straightaway that resulted in nose damage. That could ultimately end up affecting his pace as the tires wear in this run, as Hu Jian is almost up into the wall off of turn 2 and is forced to the top 3 wide. Exit of turn 2. Reid maintaining the gap to Jeff McLennan, not losing sight of him. Sean Angel just turned his fastest lap of the entire race last time by, the 10th quickest of all drivers. Angel was a driver that really struggled in qualifying. Never found his feet, qualified outside the top 30. But they've made that car better and better as the run has gone on. He's been invisible this whole race. And now he's in the picture for a possible race victory, as Jeff McLennan just turned his fastest lap of the race and the 5th fastest of all drivers.
But Reid is still fast even though he's not doing that.
Yeah, Reid is incredibly fast, even with that damage. 3 wide again off of 2 back here. Drivers still trying to sort themselves out. Shrimp Angrit's one of the drivers contending for the lead early on in this race, falling back. Same with Hu Jian, Logan Hill, Daniel Giroux. Man, Reid is right there. Angel was a 10th quicker than both of them last time by. So keep an eye on that as this run progresses. Bobby Frazier, the man who qualified dead last for this race by nearly 2/10, has found himself up into the 6th position in the closing stages. He did the same thing at Iowa and it won him the race. I don't see the same level of pace differential there was there, but he is absolutely on one right now on this restart, and he's the highest running driver outside of these lead 5 that got away from the lappers on the restart. Ryan Reid peeking on Jeff McLennan. Can't find a way alongside that time. Oh man, it's go time now. Will the experience pay off against the rookie McLennan? Reid looks strong. Even with that damage, it looks like it's not even affecting him, or it may have made him faster. I don't know. But he is all over the back of him. But I think that is more urgency from Reid, seeing that giant green car approaching in his rearview mirror of Sean Angel. Top 3 are breaking away. Yuki Tamura and Kyle Bisceglia are staying 4th and 5th, but they do not have the overall pace of the leaders.
Looks like McLennan's kind of pulling away from here. Oh, wait, no.
For a lap there he was, but I think Reid may have been cooling his tires off as he puts it right back towards the rear bumper of the 87. Do not count Sean Angel out of this one in the slightest. He may have stalled a bit on his progress, but
if these two start fighting, then he is in the perfect position.
Ryan Reid trying that higher line like he's been all night to try and generate a run, but it's not going to work this time. I think he's just trying to give himself breathing room so he can make a charge once more through the middle of the corner. Off a turn 4. Ryan Reid closing in on rookie Jeff McLennan. You can see a differing amount of lines here going on as the run goes on. Very quietly, 2 other Maverick Motorsport cars have cracked the top 10, as well as Shrimp Engritz, who we just looked a while back. He was not in the contention for a top 10 position, nor was Hu Jian. They've both climbed back up the order. It appears their cars are better than their track position said. But William Duncan and Chris Louvier, who we have not talked about all day, have now cracked the top 10 in 7th and 9th. Bobby Frazier has broken free from all of the slower traffic ahead. We can see what he can do in clean air now. And a caution could bring him right up with the rest of the leaders now. It's going to be 30 laps to go this time by. Jeff McLennan, the leader, in the Repco number 87. Ryan Reid and Sean Angel, the top 3, separated by less than half a second. As we take 30 to go.
Still a long ways to go.
Very much so. That is 10 whole minutes of having to stay ahead on a short track.
Against one of the best short trackers in the series.
You knock over a few chairs here and there, and Ryan Reid has won 4 short tracks this season. He has been in contention for almost every single one of them. And if things had not gone his way in Richmond, he wouldn't have any this season. With Alex Constantine getting involved in that track blocking accident off of turn number 2. And it's crazy to think, because his average finish on the short tracks is almost a top 5 average finish.
I mean, that is a crazy stat.
It is a crazy stat. This is one of the most important performances of Reid's entire season, though, because this is a double points event. And running second while already coming in as the point leader, you can't ask much more for that, especially with a bunch of laps led as well.
Yep, and it looks like Sean Angel is getting up there.
I said I thought maybe that front end damage might hinder Ryan Reid's long run. Possibly that's starting to show a bit. It's gonna make your car understeer a bit more when you've got nose damage like that.
That's what it looks like's happening.
Or it could have been him backing off to cool his tires up. We won't know until we see further on.
Yeah, he's definitely closing in again now.
Oh, wow. Yes, he has. He's all over the back of the 87 once more. There's a red herring. 25 laps to go at North Wilkesboro, the first ever WTSS North Wilkesboro event. There's been fireworks. There's been long green flag runs. There's been amazing battles for the lead. And it's all come down to this. A rookie versus a 6-season veteran and a 7-season veteran out front.
Yeah, in order to win, the rookie's going to have to drive like a veteran.
Yes, he is. And it's going to have to be a defensive one at that, because it does not appear he has the outright pace to run away. All 3 of these guys have incredibly close paces.
Yeah, at this point, the mental game may start to come into effect. Is McLennan going to start getting frustrated that he cannot get Reid out of his rearview mirror?
You don't want to try and push hard to get away because you burn your tires up. Reid has been doing a good job at backing up and cooling his tires off and then going again to try and make a push for the lead. He's doing it again. Lap car, Brandon Krasta approaching.
This is going to be very important.
One of the slowest lappers on the night. Even more damage on that car now. He's got to be easily a second off the pace now compared to the leaders, and it is a second off the pace that time by. As Reid arcs the corner on the entry to 1. Peaks down low as Krasta hits the wall right in front of race leader Jeff McLennan, but that ultimately actually gives him easy access to cut down the inside and make easy work of him while Reid has to stay side by side on the exit. Somehow that worked out in his favor.
Yep, already dispatched.
Top 3 made easy work of that 63. It's almost like it never even happened. It did spread them apart a bit, though. So that is a good amount of breathing room, at least for a lap, for McLennan to try and regroup himself. Caution! With 20 laps to go! And Brandon Krasta just goes another lap down as we have a massive crash in turns 1 and 2. Patrick Smith and another car that is towed back to the pits. I don't know who that was. But it is a monstrous crash in turn number 1 for Patrick Smith and someone else.
It really just seems like this race is never gonna end.
It's Daniel Giroux.
Oh, God.
Those are Alliance teammates. They are not
that's
teammates
unfortunate.
in team name, but they are a part of the same alliance. And Daniel Giroux and Patrick Smith have gotten together in what looks to be a pretty sizable accident in turn 1. Let's go back and look and see what happened to bring out the caution. Oh! And we see Giroux gets into the 77 of Smith, turns him back up the track, and in a monstrous accident in turn 1, Smith hits head-on into the wall at full speed, and Daniel Giroux goes upside down in a remarkable, absolute smash in turn 1. And that 2 car is
Smith?
absolutely junked in turn 1.
Smith did drive away, so
Yeah.
that is good news for him.
That was a hellacious hit.
Jeff McLennan,
Yeah.
the leader. Now the pressure is on because he has to survive at least one more restart ahead of these guys behind him. And crucially, this will be the last restart with lapped cars on the inside that he has to clear. So it's the final time where he has to really make sure he hits his marks on the restart. But with Brandon Crasta being the lead lapped car, I don't know if that's going to be much of an issue. Patrick Smith has come into the pits, ultimately to retire from the race, I would imagine, yes. Jeff McLennan, the leader, ahead of Ryan Reid, Sean Angel, Kyle Bisceglia, and Yuki Tamura, the top 5. This bunches everybody back up for a restart with less than 15 to go. Let's go find out what happens as we go to the restart. The pace car pulls in with 15 laps to go. It's going to be 14 to go at start-finish. Brandon Crasta, the car on the inside lane. He should not pose much of an issue for race leader Jeff McLennan. It's all about whether or not Reid and Angel can get past the 63 quickly. What a restart from Jeff McLennan. Way better than even the lead lappers around him.
Oh, man.
And he's absolutely gone into turn 1. Angel gets shuffled up the track by Bisceglia, who threads the needle 3 wide. Side by side through 3 and 4, 3 by 3 throughout the entire field. Bisceglia takes 3rd place and clears the lap traffic, but we have a fight for the lead on our hands with 13 to go.
Yeah. Reid has just been great at staying with...
Oh, contact!
Oh,
Allison
no!
Figueroa into Brandon Crasta, back up the track!
Back into the
Hard
field!
crash! Upside
Oh!
down goes the Season 1 champion! And a second crash, avoiding the incident with Teskar and Mark in the 26 and 28 cars. And we'll re-rack them once more, but this time in a single file restart. Ah, Bobby Frazier, he was running in 6th place. He had come from last in qualifying to 6th, and it's all over. I am surprised nobody at the tail end of the lead lap has come in to gamble for a 4-tire stop just to see what would happen. Wow. You just can't make it up. Another caution to possibly send this race into a shootout, per se. Now Bisceglia, Angel, and Tamura will all be bunched up to the back of the McLennan and Reid battle with no lappers in between. The top 5 separated by nothing. Let's go back and take a closer look at what just happened. We saw it in front of us, but there's multiple other ways to check this out. So we see in turns 1 and 2, Figueroa getting impatient with the 63, finds a gap underneath, can't find it quick enough, cuts down into the 63, who goes flying back up the track into Chris Dodd, flipping him upside down, and then Teskar, while trying to avoid the accident, is out of control and gets hit by Mitchell Mark on the way past, and William Duncan barely avoids any contact in that. Jeff McLennan, the leader, with 9 laps to go under caution. It should be, I believe, a 7-lap shootout to end this race. Can he hold off 4 veterans of the series to get his first career victory? Let's find out at the restart. The pace car pulls in. It's going to be a 7-lap shootout for the rookie to try and hang on. 4 hungry veterans of the series. Ryan Reid, 6 years of experience. Kyle Bisceglia, 1.5 years. Sean Angel, 7 years. Yuki Tamura, 5 years. We're back underway here at North Wilkesboro, and spinning the tires is the 87 of McLennan. Into 1, Bisceglia cuts underneath the 90 of Ryan Reid. McLennan's tire spin may have just cost Ryan Reid the entire chance to win this race. He got held up. He couldn't make the move into one and put him vulnerable to Kyle Bisceglia, who's now attacking the 87 on the run to turn number 1. Bisceglia all over the back. We haven't seen him fight for the lead all day. He's hovered around the top 5 this entire race. And now, coming to 5 laps to go this time, will he have a say in how this race ends?
We were about saying, like, can youth beat experience, but now it's a battle of the young guns.
A sophomore versus a rookie. McLennan versus Bisceglia. Angel clears Reid. Reid's entire chance at winning is gone. There's nothing he can do. Tamura's to his inside. He's absolutely ruined. Inside for the lead. Bisceglia peeks on McLennan into turn 1. Tries to put the bumper to the 87. Gets his nose underneath through 1 and 2. Side by side down the back straightaway with 4 laps to go. Kyle Bisceglia, for the first time all day, leads coming to 3 laps to go. Can McLennan regroup and refocus to try to go back after him? Into 1, Bisceglia slightly overdrives the corner. McLennan cuts back underneath. He's going to have to make a big shot at this to go back after him. Coming to 2 laps to go this time. 2 to go. Ryan Reid back down the inside for 3rd on Sean Angel. Angel keeps the position. McLennan closes back in, but I don't know if it's enough. Bisceglia down the back straightaway to the white flag. It's going to take a monster lap.
Or a mistake from Bisceglia.
White flag for Kyle Bisceglia. 1 lap to go. Can he only lead the final 4 laps of this race at North Wilkesboro? Through 1 and 2 for the final time. McLennan gave it his all, but Bisceglia surprised everybody, dived underneath Ryan Reid, sent it underneath Jeff McLennan, and the short track ace from last season is going to record a 3rd career victory at North Wilkesboro in the inaugural event.
From 3rd place at the final restart to the win.
Kyle Bisceglia gets Van Dalen the victory in a season that started off so tumultuously for their entire alliance and outfit. And Jeff McLennan, another 2nd place finish on a short track this season. You have a feeling that first win is coming, but it wasn't today. 200 laps of action at North Wilkesboro has resulted in a battle for the win down to the wire and a pass for the victory in the final 4 laps. It's Bisceglia ahead of Jeff McLennan, Sean Angel, Ryan Reid, Yuki Tamura, the top 5, Chris Louviere, Logan Hill, Fabio Vitabassa, Ray Takeda, and James Gibbs in the top 10. Innes, Mark, Duncan, Engritson, DeMax, the top 15. The rest of your running order is as follows, with Frazier, Krasta, Giroux, Smith, Carter, Finguy, and Bolden DNFing this race in one of the most dramatic, memorable races in recent memory of WTSS. Congratulations to Kyle Bisceglia, your winner at North Wilkesboro. We'll see you next race in Indianapolis for the 13th round of the season.